Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thursday Talks with Chug. Each week, we cover pressing topics that matter to you and your business. I'm Ariana Gonzalez from Chug Attorneys and CPAs, tuning in from our San Diego office. Please join me in welcoming partner and attorney Navdeep Member from our Santa Clara, California office. Hi there, Navdeep, and welcome.
Thank you, Ariana. I'm excited to be here today.
We're so excited and thankful you're taking the time to break down this topic. Today, we're going to be talking about immigration today, which will include key updates and common myths every applicant should understand. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started, this conversation is for informational purposes only. It does not create an attorney-client relationship. So if you do have questions, please comment them below or email us anytime at info@chug.com. So Navdeep, can you start by telling us why are H-1B visa appointments being canceled or rescheduled right now?
Yeah, this is the latest when I was working on this presentation, and we started hearing from our clients that their interviews are being rescheduled or canceled. Some are even who were especially went for the appointments, and their appointments are being rescheduled to June. So they're stuck there because the visa is expired. So this is creating a lot of chaos here. Just first, we should understand why they are doing it. This is due to expansion of consular social media and online presence screening. So the US Department of State, they have begun this enhanced screening of all H-1B and H-4 applicants, which includes mandatory review of their online presence, social media accounts, and any public-facing content. So this policy shift has triggered an operational slowdown at many consular posts, especially the high demand posts like India. They have canceled the visa appointments and they have issued new rescheduled dates. And in some cases, they push really far. So clients are stuck there. And just to keep in mind, consular offices there have been instructed to process fewer interviews daily to accommodate this expanded vetting burden.
Thank you for breaking that down for us. Yeah, with so many appointment changes happening, that does lead us to our next question. What should applicants do about the previously scheduled interview dates? Should they still plan to attend? What's going on here?
So the Department of State has formally instructed applicants to attend only the new issue appointment dates, okay? So if they appear for a previously scheduled appointment, it may result in being just turned away. They will not be even let inside. So please don't go to your old date. Make sure that you're checking your emails, check your dates are rescheduled or not rescheduled before you go. But certainly if they have canceled or rescheduled, do not go to your old visa appointment date. Go only to the new one.
Okay, got it. That's a very important clarification. So now with this new process review in place, can you tell us what officers are actually required to do under the updated guidelines?
So, on December 2nd, the directive was issued to the officers, and this requires them to review applicants' resume, their LinkedIn profiles, any online footprints with suggesting past work, which has in misinformation or content moderation. So when the officers look at this and then they believe that applicant may have participated in some censorship or protected expression involving US persons or topics, they must consider inadmissibility grounds under the INA. So this really presents a marked departure from prior processing norms and explains the sharp rise in scheduling disruptions. So I would suggest to my clients, go check your LinkedIn profiles, check all your footprint online, and be very careful what you're putting out there. Yeah, this is like different world right now.
Do you have any advice for H-1B or H-4 applicants who are stuck outside the United States due to canceled or rescheduled visa appointments?
So first of all, they should just be prepared for extended delays, and they should take certain steps, and if it can help with their immigration or employment status. Most important, coordinate with your US employer, okay? So if you see that your appointment has been canceled or rescheduled, contact the HR of your employer, and then they may allow you to remote work if their corporate policy allows that. So remote work is from abroad is possible. Then they can, I'm sure they have to adjust the project timelines, what expectations the clients have, and they may have to issue new letters for your appointments with current dates. So have just all your documents ready and updated This would include your DS 160 confirmation pages, employment letters, what all you need, and any disclosure you may have to give for social media identifiers. Along with that, monitor the consulate communication, check your emails, it's not going in spam, you're not missing it. So keep a tab on that. There is an option for emergencies to request an expedited appointment. But just be prepared. I mean, if we all think we're going to get expedited appointment, it's not going to happen, right? So this expedited appointment is only for very certain situations. It could be urgent medical needs, or there's a death or critical illness of an immediate family member, or major business emergency, clearly, which you have to support by evidence. Just saying something that you need an expedited appointment is not going to be enough. They want to see the evidence. So whatever the reason is going to be requesting expedited appointments, so you should have those evidence with you, but just don't have your high hopes because not everyone is going to get that.
Great insights, thank you. And for those who are still in the US, the big question becomes whether it's safe to travel internationally. So let's take a look at that. Should applicants currently in the United States travel internationally during this period of widespread H-1B visa appointment cancellations?
So it depends, First, if you already have a valid visa and you do not need to get a visa stamping, um, and make sure if you're traveling, like, no, it's a busy holiday season. We want to go see our family. We all want to do that. So if you're going to be leaving the US, make sure your visa stamp is valid till your entry back. So whichever day you are coming back, you need to have a valid visa stamp till then. Very critical. Go check your passport, check your visa stamp. If you're not understanding, talk to your HR, talk to your immigration attorney, make sure that the visa stamp is still valid for your entry back. Then it should not be any problem. But if you were planning to go for a visa appointment and you were thinking that you're going to make a family trip or just go during the holidays and get your visa stamping done because it is expiring, let's say in Jan, or even Fab. Then I would say that because of the given ongoing consular disruptions and rescheduling of all these visa appointments, it could be a significant risk, if you travel abroad. Once you leave the country, then you will need a new visa stamp if you're stuck there. I would postpone all non-essential travel. So certainly anyone who has a visa expired should not be going out unless they are ready to be expectation that they're going to be there till maybe May or June if the appointment is not going to be happening anytime soon. But if your appointment is coming up, let's say in Jan, Fab, because the visa is expiring then, if you really need it, then only travel if it's an urgent situation. Otherwise, I would say that stay put in the US because you don't really need a visa stamp to be staying, working here, right? If you everything else is okay, which we will discuss further. But so only just travel if you really need it, if your visa stamp is expired.
Got it. Thank you for that important warning. And speaking of common misunderstandings, another frequent question we get is how long somebody can actually stay in the US. So, can somebody stay in the US as long as their visa is valid?
So yes, we do get these questions a lot, and a lot of time our clients or it's just don't understand. Let's just explain first what is visa. So visa is just a travel sticker. Okay, when you get a visa, this means you can come to the US using that during the validity of that visa date. They give a start and end date. So any kind of it can be a non-immigrant visa, it can be an immigrant visa. So if you are given that on your passport, it has an expiry date. Make sure you check that you are allowed to travel to the US within that period before that visa expires. So that is the purpose of visa, and it ends here once you enter the US. So that is not going to give you a status in the US. The status comes when you enter at the port of entry. Let's say when we come through a flight or even in person, we do through the road. There is a CPP officer who is going to check your passport and your visa, and then they give you a date, which is I-94. They are not doing any paper I-94 anymore. It's all online electronic I-94. So you may not even know sometimes, and we have seen that. Sometimes our clients don't even know when their I-94 is expiring. You have to go to CBP website, cbp.gov website, and check for I-94 there. It asks your name or passport details. If you put that, then you will see what is your I-94 expiry date. So based on that I-94 expiry date, you can stay in the US as long as that I-94 is valid. You cannot stay any longer than the I-94 validity date. So even if you're, let's see if my visa is expiring next week when I come to the US. But I already enter next week, but my I-94 is valid for 1 year. So this means that I can stay in the US for 1 year till my I-94 date expires. So even if my visa expires while I'm here in the US, no problem. Visa is only for travel purposes, does not have any other purpose. So you will need it if you leave the US, then yes, you will need the visa again to come to the US. Then you will need a new visa because your old one expired. So this is what same we are having this issue right now with all those H-1B visa appointments. Some people still have a valid visa and they are able to travel. So if you are stuck outside the US because your visa appointment got rescheduled to June, July, May, whatever date, but you still have a valid visa, you can come back, as long as your visa is still valid. So it's up to you. You can discuss this with your HR team and you can come back with your valid visa. And then you can decide later if you want to go for renewal of your visa. But so that's a major myth that, oh, I have to worry about my visa. I can only stay here as long my visa is valid. Or some people think they have a visa for, let's say, for visitor visa. People think they have a 10-year visa or 5-year visa and they can stay here for that long. No. So I-94 date is the one which determines your stay in the US, and you have to be very careful when is that I-94 expiry date.
Absolutely, yes. That's a crucial distinction for applicants to understand. Another major update people are asking about is the end of the 540-day automatic EAD extension. What happened to the 540-day automatic EAD extension?
So yes, this is like recently they informed that they're going to end that 540 days automatic extension for timely filed renewals. So some of the categories when they filed EAD, EAD is the employment authorization document, as some people are authorized to file that. So they have removed that automatic extension. So just to understand, it was given initially because there were a lot of delays in processing of EAD. It was taking very long. People's EAD were expiring and the extensions were still pending. They were not approved. So then there was going to be gap in people employment. So this was creating a lot of mess because of that. So that's how they gave this 540 days automatic extension, because based on how long they were getting delayed in processing EADs. But now, on October 30th, this year only, Department of Homeland Security issued an interim final rule, which they removed this 540 days automatic extension that had previously protected individuals from lapses in their employment authorization. So this impacts a lot of categories. The today's purpose for that, I would say that have to keep in mind, since a lot of our clients are on H1 or L1. So all those H4 spouses who had EAD because of the I-140 approval of their spouses, so those are not going to get any more automatic extensions. Similarly, L2 spouses, spouses of the people who are on L1 status, they were also had authorization to work as an L2 spouse. So if your EAD is expiring, you should file in advance. Make sure, don't wait for last minute. And just keep in mind that you do not have any more 540 days automatic extension after October 30th. Yes. So this is very critical to keep in mind. If your EAD is not approved by the time your current EAD expires, you will have to be taken off the payroll and your employment has to be terminated till your EAD is approved. So no more automatic extension for 540 days.
Thank you, Navdeep. Now shifting to naturalization, USCIS has also updated how officers evaluate good moral character for N400 applicants. Can you tell us how USCIS is changing good moral character review for N400 cases?
So N400 cases are those citizenship cases, right? So a person has been a permanent resident in the US for 5 years or 3 years because of marriage, then they can file for citizenship. Because of the current government, a lot of changes are happening, new memos have been issued. So now officers must assess whether an applicant is worthy of assuming the rights and responsibilities of US citizenship. So that's what this comes from. Two new policy memos were issued, which instructs USCIS officers to conduct more holistic, correct, I would say character-driven analysis. So there are some factors too which they're going to consider when they're going to look at your N400 case or do an interview. They're going to positive factors would be like that the long-term community involvement, how you have been having caregiving responsibilities and strong family ties, your education and skills, study and lawful employment, then duration of your lawful residence, and also tax compliance and financial responsibility. They're going to look at these positive factors and going to determine your moral character. They may also examine if you have any overdue child support, if that payments have been made on time, compliance with court-ordered conditions or probations, then community testimony about reforms, and then any other repayments or benefits, overpayments, any past due taxes. So this really determining a person's moral character based on all these different factors. It just they are trying to reflect about additional value-based, lands on citizenship eligibility. They're going to look at all these. They may ask you questions at the time of interview. When we file the form N400, a lot of this information may not go in there. So be prepared when you're going to go for your interview. They may ask you all these questions. Have you been doing any volunteering, community service, community involvement? About if you are divorced and you're doing any child support, have you been paying your child support? Then about your job, education skills, and also your tax. They can look into your tax. Have you been paying your taxes? Are there any overdue taxes? So just they didn't look at all these things initially, but now with these changes, this is going to be looked at deeply. Yeah.
That's incredibly helpful context. Thank you for breaking all of that down for us. So, along with that, USCIS has also revived neighborhood investigations in some cases. Can you tell us what is the new USCIS neighborhood investigation policy for N400?
Yes, this is new, right? We had never had these things for N400. So this is going to be done case by case. It will not be done for everyone. So this is going to be specific cases where they review the case and they feel they need to do it. They're going to do that, and this will include they'll outreach, they'll contact your neighbors. They could contact your employers, co-workers, your business associates, and they ask about you, about again, it in a way ties to your moral character. Since last 5 years, how have you been conducting yourself? Have you been, so please be nice to your neighbors, no more fights with your neighbors. So just make sure how you're conducting yourself everywhere, at home, neighbors, work. Um, this is going to be questioned. The officers are going to be questioned about your moral character, what you do, and all those. Are any issues have you been creating? So this is going to be questioned. So yeah, this is something new.
Thank you. Another trend we've been seeing involves adjustment of status interviews. Are interview waivers still common in adjustment cases?
No, actually, they are being significantly reduced. So just to backtrack, there used to be a time all used to have interviews. Okay, anytime there was any adjustment of case, whether it is employment based, whether it is a marriage based, we used to have interviews. But then they started waiving it, and especially during COVID, they did not want people in person, so they reduced it. And but now they are waiving those again. So many local field offices now require interviews for all family-based US cases, which have a pending I-130. Even the relationship is straightforward, case, but they're still having people come for the interview. Similarly, for employment-based 485 cases, where previously they offered waivers but now they are being told to come back for the interview. Whole family is being called. And this just trend points towards a return to more traditional in-person adjudication practices. They're trying to get away with the without in-person adjudication. So they want to see a person in person, talk to them. A lot of time at these interviews, how you behave, how you conduct yourself, that's looked at. And they want to ask a lot of questions in person, which is not easy to do if they're not doing it that. So be prepared. Any of you have filed for a green card, whether it is family based or it's employment based, you are most likely going to be called for an interview in person.
And speaking of increased scrutiny, many couples have reported being separated for Stokes style interviews. So, why are more marriage-based applicants being separated for Stokes interviews?
So first, let's understand what is Stokes interview. Stokes interview is basically when person files their green card based on marriage, and somehow USCIS, when they review the application, they feel maybe there is no good immigration intent, no good faith intent behind this immigration process. Okay, so they separate the petitioner. Petitioner is the person who is filing that I-130, and then the beneficiary is the person for who this case is being filed. So if someone got married, you are bringing your spouse and filing this case for them. So they are going to call both of you for interview, but they're going to separate you. Um, in the normal marriage-based case, they would call both husband and wife or spouses together for the inside. When you're waiting outside, they'll call you. The officer will call both of you same time in the room. You will be sitting next to each other, and then they will ask you questions addressing to the petitioner or the beneficiary. So the questions which are normally addressed to the petitioner are about the marriage, and beneficiary. They want to know that the immigrant intent behind this marriage is a valid, good faith intent, not just to get an immigration benefit. So they ask you questions about the marriage, how they met each other. So this is a normal process. But Stokes interview comes in the picture when they think, because of whatever they see in the documents or whatever the situation is of the circumstances how this marriage took place, they feel that there could be something more, and they want to ask separate questions. So they will separate the petitioner and the beneficiary. They will not call you together. So they would ask questions, same questions. They will ask to the petitioner, and then the same question they will ask to the beneficiary, and then they're going to see how your answers are. I have gone to a couple of these Stokes interviews as an attorney representation. And the questions which are asked are very, they could go any question. They could ask you basically, questions like, what did you gift your spouse for her birthday? How do you celebrate the anniversary? And they could ask you the same question to both of them. And, I have seen people answering differently because you don't remember a lot of time. And it is normal. Sometimes you don't remember things which happened a year ago, maybe, or even this year. So it is very critical that if you're going to go for a marriage-based interview, you should just sit together and go over your facts, so you are on the same page. Just in your mind, have all those things. Sometimes we forget. We get so busy with life. So this is the Stokes interview. You should keep in mind that if you're going to go for one of those interviews, marriage-based especially, so even if it's not a Stokes interview, even if it's just a marriage-based, a green card interview, just go over and refresh in your mind. What did you guys do stuff together? What did you eat for dinner? Where did you celebrate something? And what holidays have you taken together? This is very normal to ask such questions, but the only difference for Stokes would be you would be asked separately. And then if your answers are not matching, this could create a problem because then they may think that, maybe someone is not saying the truth. So they're going to compare those answers for consistency. And then, if needed, they may give you additional round of questioning because they thought that what you said is not right or not truthful. They will not approve your green card. They will send you back home, and then this just creates more issues. We have seen where the officers even come to the home, make a visit, and they don't tell you. They just knock on your door. For such cases, it is not common. It is rare, but just be prepared and keep that in mind. There's going to be a rise in these interviews across all field offices, because they're trying to focus more on fraud prevention. Emphasis is there. So they're going to do this more often now.
Wow, thank you so much, Navdeep, for taking the time today to break all of this down for us and explaining this in such a way that we can all understand and be prepared for. That is all we have time for today. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you again, Navdeep, for taking the time. To stay up to date, please subscribe and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you have any questions or suggestions, send us an email anytime at info@chuk.com. Let us know what topic you'd like to see next. And make sure to join us back here next week for more pressing topics that truly matter to you and your business. Until next time, stay safe and take care, everyone. Thank you again for
Thank
joining.
you. Have a good day. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Navdeep.
Thank you.